My dear listener, while you are listening to me right now, you would be somewhere in the world. And that somewhere would be either slightly or completely different to my somewhere. But still, we are connected. Because your somewhere and my somewhere have a core commonality. And this commonality is a connection that you and me doubtlessly share, without even knowing about it. And this is a fact, whether we understand it or believe it or not. Now the question arises as to what is that commonality, or even more specifically, the connection between us all about. Well, the answer to this very simple and straightforward question has to be very simple and straightforward as well. Isn't it? So, the commonality between us that makes us identical to one another is our set of emotions. We might actually belong to different landscapes, different countries, different cultures. We might even have our own special signs, gestures, or even languages to communicate. Or even our cultural perspectives might be contrary to one another. Yet, we are same. And we feel the similar emotions. Be it happiness or sadness, be it feeling surprised or angry, being afraid or even disgusted, envy, love, despair, or hope. You know what? The list goes on and on and on. And the fact remains that we possess them all. We feel them all. And we live with them 24/7. Now, this agreement between you and me leads us to an undeniable fact, that these emotions are those key elements that create, carve, and decorate our own stories, where we are not only the protagonist, but also the narrators. These stories become your companions forever. They accompany you and me from our past, which vibrates with the slow approaching sounds of the silent yet colorful shadows that we left behind us, until the time we reach our tomorrow, where these beautiful stories would call us by unknown voices with an echo, which would be quite familiar. So this brings us to Similar Soils, a podcast which tells these beautiful stories, stories which will reintroduce you to yourself once again. Just as soil is responsible for our existence and forms the overall basis of our lives, so is our range of emotions that acts as a backbone and bears the weight of our outlook and orientation, along with their invaluable sense of realization. And this very realization weaves scintillating stories around us. Stories which are full of life and explicitly define its white, grey, and black characters with utmost simplicity and ease. My dearest listeners, I'm AK, the host of this podcast and also the writer of these stories. And I will be meeting with you on the 15th and 30th of every month with two beautiful tales that will touch your hearts forever. I sincerely hope that you will not only enjoy listening to them, but would also be able to feel their essence as well. So, till we meet next time, I would like to leave in your company a few lines of my poem that I couldn't resist writing a few months ago, with the hope that you would somehow relate yourself to them as well, the way I did. The sky yesterday night looked like a black wooden boat, The stars were rowing it, wearing a shiny silver coat. I wished to swim around them and drench myself into the blackness, to somehow and someway purify myself of the very painful whiteness. But the stars suddenly warned me to not do such an act, as black is theirs and white is mine, and that's a simple fact. The sky yesterday night looked like a black wooden boat, and the stars were rowing it, wearing a shiny silver coat. Thanks a lot.